My brothers and sisters, there is a disease spreading quietly among us. It does not make noise at first, but it slowly drains your strength, your dignity, and your peace. It is not poverty. It is not failure. It is not even your enemies. It is your tongue. Many people think power comes from speaking more, explaining more, defending more, proving more. But wallahi, much of your weakness today comes from how much you talk. You speak when silence would protect you. You explain when Allah never asked you to justify yourself. You reveal when concealment would have preserved your honor. And then you wonder why people misuse your words, why your heart feels heavy, why your life feels exposed. The tongue is small, but its consequences are massive. If you do not control it, it will control you. My brothers and sisters, understand this clearly and without illusion. The urge to comment on everything is not strength. It is insecurity disguised as confidence. Shaitan whispers to you that if you stay silent, you will be forgotten, misunderstood, or taken advantage of. He convinces you that your value depends on being heard. That is a lie. Silence is not loss. Silence is control. Silence is mastery over the ego. Look at how people exhaust themselves today. Every message demands a reply. Every accusation demands a defense. Every misunderstanding demands clarification. And slowly, without realizing it, you become a prisoner of people's opinions. Your mood depends on comments. Your peace depends on reactions. Your energy is drained by explanations that were never required. Islam came to free you from this slavery, not to trap you in it. The Prophet ﷺ was the most truthful human being, yet he did not respond to every falsehood spoken about him. He was accused, mocked, misunderstood, and attacked, yet there were moments when he chose silence. Why? Because responding would have fed the ego, escalated conflict, or distracted from what truly mattered. Silence in those moments was not weakness. It was strategic wisdom. It was discipline. It was strength. Ask yourself honestly, when you rush to respond, what are you really protecting? Is it the truth or is it your image? Is it justice or is it pride? Many times we speak not because Allah needs us to, but because our ego is uncomfortable being questioned. The ego cannot tolerate silence. It wants validation. It wants control. It wants to be seen as right. But the believer understands that being right in the sight of Allah matters far more than being right in the sight of people. Every unnecessary word you release gives people access to you. This is a reality many ignore. When you explain yourself excessively, you give others material to twist, misuse, and weaponize. When you speak emotionally, you expose your weaknesses. When you respond immediately, you surrender your power. Silence, on the other hand, limits access. It draws boundaries. It forces people to sit with their assumptions instead of feeding off your reactions. My brothers and sisters, not everyone deserves a response. Some people are not seeking clarity, they are seeking control. Some are not confused, they are provoking. Some are not ignorant, they are envious. When you engage with them, you step into their game. When you remain silent, you deny them satisfaction. Silence deprives negativity of oxygen. Without reaction, it dies. You do not owe the world an explanation for every decision you make. You do not need to justify your growth, your boundaries, your withdrawal, or your change. Allah did not command you to convince people. He commanded you to obey Him. When you constantly explain yourself, you subtly place people in the position of judges over your life. That is dangerous for your iman and destructive for your peace. Allah sees the truth even when people misunderstand you. This is not a slogan. This is a foundation of faith. If Allah knows your intention, then the misunderstanding of creation cannot harm you unless you allow it to. Many people rush to speak because they fear being misjudged. But the believer understands that being misunderstood by people is lighter than being displeasing to Allah. Silence in that case is trust in Allah's justice. Talking less sharpens your awareness. It protects your focus. It preserves your emotional energy. When you stop reacting to everything, you regain control over yourself. You choose when to speak, why to speak, and whether speaking even serves a purpose. This restraint is not passive. It is active discipline. It trains the soul to pause, reflect, and act with intention. Remember this. Words cannot be taken back, But silence can always be broken when needed. If you speak too quickly, you may spend years repairing damage. If you stay silent, you lose nothing that Allah has written for you. Strength is not in constant expression. Strength is in restraint. Strength is knowing that sometimes the most powerful statement you can make is saying nothing at all. My brothers and sisters, there is a dangerous confusion today between sincerity and exposure. People believe that being open means revealing everything, that honesty means telling everyone your plans, your struggles, your next move. This is not wisdom, this is carelessness. Islam never taught us to live with our doors wide open. It taught us to protect what is precious. Oversharing does not make you brave, it makes you accessible, and accessibility without discernment leads to harm. Look carefully at how problems begin. A person speaks about a dream before it is rooted. Suddenly doubt appears from people who never built anything. A person speaks about pain before it has healed. Suddenly it becomes gossip, advice, judgment, and comparison. A person speaks about progress too early. Suddenly envy enters and momentum disappears. Then they say, I don't know what happened. Something did happen, you spoke too soon. The Prophet ﷺ taught us a principle that many ignore. Seek help in silence when pursuing important matters. Why? Because not every ear is safe and not every heart is clean. Some people smile while listening, but inside they are disturbed by your growth. Some offer advice, but secretly hope you fail, so they feel better about themselves. This is not paranoia. This is reality. My brothers and sisters, privacy is not deception. Privacy is protection. Allah Himself conceals. He covers faults. He hides blessings. He does not expose everything at once. When you overshare, you go against this divine wisdom. You strip yourself of layers that Allah intended to shield you. Ask yourself honestly, what benefit comes from telling everyone your next step? Does it increase success or does it invite interference? Does it bring peace or does it bring opinions you never asked for? Many people confuse attention with support. Attention is cheap. Support is rare. Silence filters the difference. Oversharing also weakens your emotional position. When people know your fears, they know how to shake you. When they know your wounds, they know where to press. When they know your doubts, they know how to manipulate you. This is why Islam emphasizes restraint. Not because people are always evil, but because humans are imperfect and weakness attracts exploitation. There is another danger here that is even deeper. When you constantly talk about your plans, you begin to feel accomplished without action. The tongue gives the ego a false sense of progress. You talk, you receive praise, encouragement, and validation, and your soul relaxes, but nothing has been built yet. Silence keeps hunger alive. Silence keeps urgency sharp. Silence forces action instead of performance. My brothers and sisters, your dreams are like seeds. If you dig them up every day to show people, they will never grow. They need darkness, they need time, they need patience. They protect them until Allah brings them to the surface naturally. When something is meant to be seen, Allah will make it visible without your announcement. Even your struggles do not need a wide audience. Choose carefully who hears your pain. Not everyone who listens is capable of carrying it. Some people will trivialize it, some will judge it, some will spread it. A small circle of trust is a blessing. A large audience is a risk. Understand this clearly. The more you reveal, the more you negotiate your worth with people. You begin to seek reassurance, approval, and comfort from creation instead of the Creator. Silence shifts that dependence back to Allah. It teaches you to rely on Him first, to speak to Him before you speak to people. This does not mean you isolate yourself or suppress everything. It means you are intentional, you speak when there is benefit, you share when there is wisdom. You remain silent when silence protects your heart and your future. My brothers and sisters, not everything you carry needs a witness. Some battles are won quietly. Some victories are secured silently. Some progress happens best when no one is watching. Oversharing weakens you because it hands your inner world to the outer world. Silence strengthens you because it keeps your power where it belongs. My brothers and sisters, be honest with yourselves for a moment. Much of our excessive talking is not about truth, benefit, or guidance. It is about the ego demanding attention. The ego wants to be seen as intelligent. It wants to be admired. It wants to dominate conversations. It wants the last word, and the tongue becomes its favorite weapon. When a person talks too much, they stop listening. And when listening dies, learning dies with it. Islam did not come to produce loud people. It came to produce conscious people. Awareness grows in silence, not in noise. The one who is constantly speaking has no space to reflect, no room to absorb wisdom, no patience to understand others. The ego hates silence because silence exposes it. In silence, you hear your flaws, you feel your weaknesses, you notice your intentions. That is uncomfortable. Talking becomes a distraction from self-accountability. As long as the tongue is busy, the heart avoids scrutiny. This is why some people cannot sit quietly. They fear what they might discover about themselves. The Prophet ﷺ warned us clearly that a servant may utter a single word without thinking, and it drags him far into harm. This should terrify us. One careless sentence, one arrogant remark, one unnecessary joke, one emotional response can undo years of good character. Words are not light. They carry weight in the sight of Allah, even when people dismiss them casually. My brothers and sisters, notice how arguments begin. Rarely because someone was searching for truth. Most arguments start because someone wanted to win. Talking becomes a battlefield where egos clash, not a place where guidance is exchanged. You raise your voice, you sharpen your tone, you exaggerate your point, not to clarify, but to dominate. And in doing so, you lose sincerity. Excessive talking also creates the illusion of importance. A person begins to believe that because they speak often, they matter more. But value in Islam is not measured by how much you say. It is measured by how much you act, how sincere you are, and how controlled you remain under pressure. A restrained tongue reflects a disciplined soul. When you talk too much, you reveal too much of yourself. You expose your biases, your insecurities, your anger, your impatience. People learn how to provoke you. They learn what triggers you. They learn how to pull reactions out of you. Silence protects you from being predictable. Silence keeps you unreadable. And unreadable people are harder to control. There is another subtle danger. Excessive talking often leads to exaggeration, backbiting, complaining, or unnecessary opinion. You start with harmless conversation and slowly it slips into judgment, then into mockery, then into arrogance. The tongue rarely stays neutral when it is not restrained. This is why the companions of the Prophet ﷺ were cautious. They understood how quickly speech can decay. My brothers and sisters, humility lives in measured words. When you choose silence, you admit that you do not need to prove yourself. You acknowledge that not every thought deserves air. You accept that wisdom is often quiet. The ego wants applause. The soul wants peace. Talking too much satisfies the ego but starves the soul. If you want strength, reduce your noise. If you want clarity, reduce your commentary. If you want growth, listen more than you speak. The strongest people are not those who fill every silence. They are those who are comfortable within it. My brothers and sisters, observe carefully how respect works in the real world, not how we imagine it works. People do not respect those who speak the most. They respect those who speak with control. Constant talking does not make you influential. It makes you familiar. And familiarity, when excessive, erodes respect. When a person fills every moment with words, their presence becomes predictable. People know what they will say, how they will react, what opinions they will give. There is no weight left in their speech. But when someone speaks rarely and intentionally, their words land differently. People pause, they listen, they reflect. This is not coincidence. This is human nature, and Islam aligns with it. The Prophet ﷺ was not a person of excessive speech. When he spoke clearly, briefly, and with purpose. His words carried weight because they were not wasted. He did not rush to speak, and he did not compete for attention. His silence was not emptiness, it was dignity. My brothers and sisters, dignity is quiet, arrogance is loud. A person who constantly interrupts, corrects, or comments reveals inner insecurity. They are afraid of being overlooked. They fear losing relevance. But the one who is secure does not chase attention. Attention comes to them naturally because restraint creates gravity. Silence also establishes boundaries. When you do not explain everything, justify everything, or respond to everything. People learn where access ends. They become cautious with you. They think before approaching. They weigh their words because they know yours are not cheap. Boundaries are not built through confrontation. They are built through consistency and restraint. Many people damage their own respect by overfamiliarity. They joke too much, explain too much, complain too much, and reveal too much. Then they wonder why people stop taking them seriously. Respect fades when your inner world is always on display. Mystery is not manipulation, it is protection of dignity. My brothers and sisters, when you control your tongue, you control the atmosphere around you. Silence creates presence. Presence creates authority. Authority does not require shouting or dominance. It is felt. Even when you disagree, silence allows you to choose the right moment and the right words. That timing itself commands respect. Understand this clearly. People may misunderstand your silence, but they will rarely disrespect it. Even those who speak against you are forced to pause when you do not react. Your restraint unsettles those who expected emotional reactions. It elevates you above petty exchanges and unnecessary conflict. Respect is not demanded, it is demonstrated, and one of the strongest demonstrations is self-control. When you speak only when there is benefit, people associate your words with value. When you remain silent in moments of provocation, people associate you with strength. My brothers and sisters, if you want to be taken seriously, take your own words seriously first. Do not scatter them everywhere. Preserve them, guard them. Silence is not emptiness. Silence is presence, and presence commands respect. My brothers and sisters, reflect honestly on your own life. The moments that still trouble your heart, the memories that make you cringe in private, the situations you wish you could undo. How many of them came from staying silent? And how many came from speaking too quickly? The answer is clear for most people. Pain usually follows words, not restraint. A sentence spoken in anger can destroy years of trust. A careless joke can humiliate someone and stain your character. A secret shared lightly can travel further than you ever intended and return to harm you. Words leave the mouth easily, but they do not leave the record. Once they are spoken, they belong to the world and you lose control over them. Islam teaches us to pause. The Prophet ﷺ taught us that when a person is angry, they should remain silent. Why? Because anger clouds judgment and loosens the tongue. In that moment, the ego takes control and wisdom disappears. Silence acts as a shield. It creates a gap between emotion and action. That gap saves relationships, reputations, and hearts. My brothers and sisters, regret often comes not immediately but later. At the moment of speaking, it feels justified, it feels necessary, it feels satisfying. But when the emotion fades, the damage remains. Apologies do not erase impact. Explanations do not undo hurt. Silence, had it been chosen, would have cost nothing. Speech, chosen recklessly, costs peace. There is also regret in religious terms that many ignore. Every word is written, even the ones you forgot 5 minutes after saying them. On the day of judgment, you will not wish you had spoken more. You will wish you had spoken with more care. You will wish you had restrained yourself when words brought no benefit. Silence in dunya can become safety in akhirah. My brothers and sisters, many people think speaking relieves the heart, but uncontrolled speech often multiplies anxiety. You explain yourself, then worry about how it sounded. You defend yourself, then replay the conversation. You vent, then fear how it will be used. Silence calms the heart because it leaves no trace to regret. Understand this, silence does not mean suppression. It means choosing the right time and the right words. Islam does not teach us to be mute. It teaches us to be mindful. When there is benefit, speak with clarity. When there is harm, remain silent with strength. The strongest people are not those who say everything they feel. They are those who can feel deeply without being controlled by emotion. Restraint is maturity. Restraint is intelligence. Restraint is iman. My brothers and sisters, before you speak, imagine standing before Allah with that sentence written in your record. If it brings you comfort, say it. If it brings you regret, silence is mercy. Most regrets come from words. Very few come from silence. My brothers and sisters, understand this deeply. A noisy tongue often creates a distracted heart. When speech is excessive, reflection becomes shallow. When the mouth is constantly busy, the soul has no space to breathe. Islam is not only about what you do outwardly, but about the state of your heart inwardly. And the heart needs quiet to grow. Excessive talking hardens the heart. This is not poetry, it is reality. When a person fills their day with unnecessary conversation, arguments, commentary and opinions, the heart becomes restless. Dhikr feels heavy, salah feels rushed, reflection feels uncomfortable. Silence, on the other hand, softens the heart. It slows you down enough to notice Allah's presence. The companions of the Prophet ﷺ were not people of idle speech. They spoke when there was benefit and they remained silent when there was no purpose. Their silence was not emptiness, it was awareness. They understood that the tongue and the heart are connected. When one is disciplined, the other is illuminated. My brothers and sisters, when you reduce unnecessary speech, you begin to hear what truly matters. You hear your conscience reminding you, you hear your weaknesses calling for correction, you hear guidance in moments you previously ignored. Silence creates space for sincerity. It removes the noise that drowns out truth. There is a reason why moments of closeness to Allah often come in solitude. Late at night, early in the morning, in quiet sujood, in reflection after prayer. Allah is not found in chaos. He is found in presence. And presence requires restraint. When you speak less, your dhikr becomes sweeter. Your dua becomes more focused. Your thoughts become clearer. You stop reacting impulsively and start responding intentionally. This shift is not small. It transforms your relationship with Allah from routine to awareness. Many people complain that they feel distant from Allah, but they never examine how distracted they are. Their days are filled with noise, their nights filled with screens, their conversations filled with opinions. The heart has no silence to settle. Silence is not isolation, it is alignment. My brothers and sisters, silence also trains humility. It reminds you that you do not need to comment on everything, judge everything, or control every situation. You surrender that illusion of control and place trust in Allah. That surrender strengthens Iman. If you want closeness to Allah, protect your silence. Not all silence is worship, but much worship is born from silence. Reduce the noise and you will find that Allah was always near. My brothers and sisters, there is a profound illusion that traps many people. The belief that words build your worth. They think if they explain themselves enough, announce their intentions enough, or defend their position enough, they will be understood, respected and validated. But Islam teaches us something far more powerful. Your actions are your testimony. Your consistency is your proof. Your character is your loudest statement. The believer does not live to convince people. The believer lives to obey Allah. When you focus too much on explaining yourself, you shift your attention away from action and toward performance. You begin managing perceptions instead of building substance. And over time, this weakens you because words require maintenance. Actions speak once and remain. Look at the life of the Prophet ﷺ. His enemies spoke endlessly. They accused, mocked and distorted. He did not chase every accusation with a response. He built a life of integrity, patience and consistency. And eventually, even his enemies were forced to acknowledge his character. This is how truth prevails, not through argument, but through endurance. My brothers and sisters, when you let your actions speak, you free yourself from emotional exhaustion. You no longer feel the need to clarify every misunderstanding or respond to every false narrative. You understand that people who want the truth will observe it, and those who do not will never be satisfied by your words anyway. Action also exposes sincerity. Anyone can speak, anyone can promise, anyone can make emotional declarations, but few can remain consistent when no one is watching. Few can show discipline when applause disappears. Few can uphold character under pressure. Silence combined with action reveals who you truly are. There is also dignity in restraint. When you do not announce every good deed, Allah announces it for you in ways you never expected. When you do not advertise your struggles, Allah strengthens you quietly. When you do not defend your honor obsessively, Allah becomes your defender. This is not symbolic language. This is lived reality for those who trust Him. My brothers and sisters, excessive explanation often signals inner doubt. When you are certain of your path, you walk it. You do not pause to justify every step. You do not look back at every critic. You move forward with clarity. Silence protects that clarity. Understand this as well. People forget words, but they remember patterns. They may forget what you said last year, but they remember how you behaved. They remember whether you were consistent, fair, patient, and sincere. Actions write reputations permanently. Words fade quickly. There is a special power in being underestimated while remaining focused. When people expect noise and receive silence, when they expect reaction and receive discipline, when they expect collapse and witness consistency, it unsettles them. Not because you tried to impress them, but because you refused to perform for them. My brothers and sisters, let your actions do the talking. Let your discipline answer doubts. Let your character respond to accusations. Let your patience silence critics. When Allah sees sincerity, He takes care of the outcome. You do not need to prove yourself to people who do not walk your path. In the end, the strongest voice is not the loudest one. It is the life lived with integrity, consistency, and trust in Allah. My dear brothers and sisters, remember this and carry it with you. Strength is not in how much you speak, but in how much control you have over yourself. The tongue can either expose you or protect you, elevate you or weaken you. Every word you release should be a choice, not a reflex. Every silence you keep should be intentional, not fearful. You were not created to respond to every noise in the world. You were created to walk a straight path with clarity and purpose. When you speak less, you think more. When you think more, you act better. And when you act better, Allah opens doors that no explanation ever could. Guard your tongue and you will guard your heart. Guard your heart and Allah will strengthen your faith. Speak when your words bring benefit. Remain silent when silence brings safety. Trust Allah with what people misunderstand, and trust Him with what they say behind your back. May Allah grant us wisdom in speech, dignity in silence, and strength through self-control. May He make our actions sincere and our intentions pure. And may He make us among those whose silence is worship and whose words are light. Ameen.